Hello, my friends and my fellow automation engineers, and welcome to a new uh, famous requested engine replica video. Because lately I've received on Snapchat a cool requested engine by Mr. Jacob Kemp. That's his name or username on Snapchat. He actually told me to make a replica of a legendary Aussie engine. In Australia, they do things in a rather different way, especially when we are talking about Ford engines. Yes, they love LS engines over there. Also, you can see tons of LS swap cars and I mean LS engines came out from the factory. All these all that nonsense is over there also, same as the United States. But Ford engines are a little bit different over there, especially the Ford models. In America, you can find the Ford Crown Victoria, like the F-150s, Expeditions, Explorers, wherever. All these American Ford cars. But in Australia, there are many different and weird models that I've never actually heard of before, like Ford Falcon, the FPV something. And yeah, as you can see, obviously, this is the Ford Barra inline 6 engine. Yeah, an Aussie made Ford inline 6 engine, which is absolutely amazing. I've been checking out some YouTube videos of of people actually modifying and enjoying these engines, and you can find absolutely tons and tons and tons of video on YouTube about people modifying these engines, talking about problems with them, fixing them, modifying them, blowing them up, dyno tuning them. I mean, it's just endless of videos, and absolutely awesome indeed. And I had so much fun watching. I mean, I've been watching videos, I don't know, for an hour so far, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. Really awesome. So in this video, yes, I know I've talked a lot so far, but yeah, in this video we'll be of course doing a very close replica of the Ford Barra 270T. Now let's talk a little bit about the Ford Barra, because they actually named the engines after the amount of kilowatts, because in Australia they use kilowatts instead of, for example, horsepower or brake horsepower. They use kilowatts in determining how powerful their engines is. So this engine, the Ford Barra engine, started with the Barra 182, which of course is producing 182 kilowatts, all the way. Like there is 190, there's 195, there is the 240T, 245T, and so on. So obviously this is the 270T. That means this engine is producing 270 kilowatts. So as you can see, obviously it's an inline 6 engine, aluminium block, and 92.2 millimeters on the bore and 99.3 millimeters on the stroke. So the stroke is a little bit bigger than the bore, which gives you 3,978. Well, not exactly, because to be honest with you, the original bore and stroke for this engine are the original ones are 92.26. Now in automation game, I can't select 92.26. I can only select 92.2 or 92.3. That's it. I can't select anything more or less than that. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I went with only 92.2. I mean, the closest thing. The other one, which is the stroke, the real stroke for this engine is 99.31. Yeah, I can't select 31. I can only go 99.3. So yeah, and in real life the displacement is 3,984. This one is 3,978. It's a little bit smaller because of those variant numbers that I cannot go and select them. Yeah, I can't. It's because of automation limitations. But yeah, that's as close as I can. That's as close as possible to the real displacement of the engine. Alright, it's double overhead camshaft, 4 valves per cylinder, aluminium cylinder head. It's really awesome. No VVL, of course. I've checked online. I don't know. I mean, I've checked. I went online quickly, not thoroughly, and I don't know. I've assumed that the internals are forged, because a lot of people are actually modifying them and boosting them. I mean, boosting them all the way to the sky, and they are just running without any single problem. So I assumed the internals are forged, because it's a very tough and desirable engine. So I went with the forged package. As you can see, forged steel crankshaft, heavy duty forged connecting rods, and forged pistons, the heavy duty loving pistons and crankshaft, and of course the connecting rods. Moving on, So as you can see, the version that I went with is called the 270T, the Ford Barra 270T. Let's see, this engine was produced from 2004 all the way to the early 2009, according to Wikipedia. And this engine actually went in the, you can find it in the BA or the BF Ford Falcon based. That's what it says here, based FPV F6 Typhoon and Tornado. Wow, absolutely amazing names. And also in the SY what territory based FPV F6X. Really awesome names. So as you can see, this engine is looking absolutely crazy. Of course, it's turbocharged. It has a massive intercooler up front. Really awesome engine indeed. This engine, as I've mentioned, is producing 270 kilowatts. And now let's go step by step of how did I actually reach that. So 8.7 to 1 is the compression ratio for this version. I had to go with 82 on the cam profile and minus 11 quality on the, of course, on the camshaft and the valve, the Valvetrain. I had to go with that so I can get the horsepower and torque exactly as the real engine. I also went with VVT all cams because this engine is using a double variable cam timing. That's how they call it. Yeah, on the exhaust and on the intake camshaft, both of them. So yeah, VVT on all cams. Moving on. Now, to be completely honest with you, this engine, this one in automation, it doesn't really, I'm not really using the correct 100% correct turbo spec. No, I went with a custom turbo because I tried to go with the official spec for the original turbo, which is the Garrett GT3 3540 or GT3540 turbocharger. I went on the Garrett website. I found the specs for it, and when I went and selected them in automation game, no, that was absolutely impossible to reach the correct horsepower and torque for this engine, because automation game, it's not like the real life, it's a little bit different. So I just went with a custom turbo myself, so to achieve the correct horsepower and torque. So as you can see, it's a single turbo, ball bearing internals. The intercooler can fit 673 horsepower supporting cooling. The compressor that I went with is 50 millimeters. The turbine is 36 millimeters, maxed out air ratio, and 14 psi. Of course, it's different from the real turbo, but as I've mentioned, I have to do with what I have here. Zero quality. I went with multi-point EFI system, single throttle body, performance intake, because I was looking at the real engine pictures, and the intake on that engine looks very awesome, really. I mean, looks very cool. And if I go with the standard intake, it will look very boring in automation game. So I went with a performance to have the soundtrack of that magnificent beast, and of course the looks of that cool intake manifold. Premium 95 octane fuel, 12.9 is the air fuel ratio, which is a little bit too much, but it's working perfectly. 77 on the ignition timing, and 5,800 is the RPM limit. I'm not really sure. I've also watched some videos. Unfortunately, most of the cars on YouTube are just modified versions of this engine and other Barra engines. I'm not really sure about the stock RPM limit. Maybe it's 6,000, maybe it's 5,800, but because I'm producing the same correct horsepower and torque at the same RPM, peak RPM, that's why I assume 5,800 is just more than enough. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, who knows. I would love to know the correct RPM in the comment section. I think it's 6,000, maybe 5,800, I don't know. Moving on, the exhaust is short cast header, single exhaust pipe, of course, 3.5-inch exhaust diameter, which is a little bit bigger than the real engine, but I'm not really sure. Also, the catalytic converter, I'm not really sure if it's high flow 3-way or normal 3-way. I'm not really sure. So I would love to know these details. If you actually know these details, I would love to know them in the comment section below. I went with a single muffler, with a single reverse flow muffler, similar to the real engine. And also because with this setup, the first muffler is reverse flow, the second muffler it's none. At this setup, I got the correct horsepower and torque, also with +6 quality. Let's see now. These are the results. As you can see, 362 horsepower at 5,200 RPM, exactly like the real engine, and 406 pound-feet of torque, exactly like the real engine at 4,200 RPM. Now, if you are a sharp eyed viewer. And if you actually went on Wikipedia, you will find out that the power is 270 kilowatts or 362 horsepower at 5,250 RPM. Again, unfortunately, because of automation game, of the design of automation game, I can't get the horsepower to be exactly at 5,250. I mean, this number here, 50, 60, no, this will not, this thing will never work. It will only go in the hundreds only, and thousands, no tens. So yeah, unfortunately, I had to go as close as possible. So 5,200. The same goes also for the torque, 406 pound-feet of torque in the real engine at 4,250. Also, again, I can't go with the 50. I can only go as close as possible, which is of course 4,200. Now, that's pretty much it for the horsepower and torque. As you can see, the engine is actually pretty reliable. It's somewhat heavy, but it's still a 4-liter inline six with, I mean, double overhead camshaft. It's turbocharged. There is a massive intercooler up front. All these things add weight. But 200 kilograms is, I mean, for a turbocharged engine, that's pretty normal actually. It's impressive. As you can see, it's not really that efficient. It's sporty, but it's not really that efficient. I'm using nearly all available octane. Emissions are good. It's smooth. It's smooth and nice actually. It's responsive. It's sporty. The noise is just sporty, which is really cool. All right, let's fire it up. Let's look at those beautiful 6 cylinders dancing up and down and that beautiful spinning snail turbocharger. All right, let's fire it up. Listen to the turbo. It's giving that beautiful amount of boost at idle. So the engine is making 195 pound-feet of torque at idle, which is really awesome. Torquey beast. I mean, it's really awesome. As you can see, really awesome. I mean, the turbo just kicks in really early. As you can see, you will have all the boost at 2000 RPM exactly, which is really awesome. I mean, it will go all the way to up to 5200 RPM, as you can see, all the way right, let's see, right here. And then after it, the valves will start to float, as you can see. That's why I went with 5800 RPM, because it seems more realistic, because if I go 6000, I mean, all that extra RPM is just useless. That's why I just kept it like this. But yeah, in general, this engine is actually very awesome, and I really cannot wait to shove this engine in a car and call it a day and test it, of course, on BeamNG.Drive. Well, I mean, thinking of it, why not? I'm gonna actually shove this engine. All right, let's move on to BeamNG and see how this engine will actually perform. All right, everyone, welcome to BeamNG with, of course, the JXV version 3.0. As we all know, and if you are actually a follower on my channel for a long time, you should know that this is the JXV. This car was, I mean, the version 1.0 was my first ever supercharged car using the supercharger mod in BeamNG.Drive. But with time and with, of course, automation game getting updated and getting more realistic with time, I had to upgrade the car with the version 2.0, which of course I kept the V6, the supercharged V6 in it. But now I thought it's time to upgrade it to the version 3.0 using, of course, the Barra 270T up front. So what I did is I stripped it from the all-wheel drive. Now it's rear-wheel drive. Now it's, of course, it's manual gearbox. It's really sharp. It has the modern fixtures on it. I upgraded everything. The fixtures, the interior, everything is new with this car. The brakes, everything is just to suit the Barra 270T. As you can see, let me show you the engine inside. As you can see, this is the Barra with all of its glory, making 270 kilowatts. I forgot how much horsepower is that, but yeah, it's with all of its glory, as you can see inside. So let's test this thing and see how it will accelerate and how it will actually work. Now, as you can see, I have tons of apps here, like the navigation, all that nonsense, then just to keep everything in check. All right, here we go. This is the graph. Sounds really good. All right, here we go. Wow, accelerates really nice. Accelerates really good. Look at that beast. Yeah, look at that sliding and everything. I have to shift early a little bit because yeah, the valve float is not really helping the speed. So there is no point of shifting it all the way to the red line. It's actually impressive. Look at that, you can actually keep your throttle all the time. You can keep your foot down and it will just work. Look at that beauty. Sounds and looks really good. Look at that. I mean, the car, it's not light at all. It has 5 seats inside it, premium interior. I mean, it's not really a lightweight car. It's a sports family sedan, and it works really fine as it should be. Premium interior, premium infotainment system, safety equipment, standard safety equipment. Look at that. You can actually slide it and have fun with it. Absolutely awesome. Suspension tune. I'm really proud of the suspension tune because it really drives like a sports car and it's still comfortable and awesome at the same time. Look at that. Even if you shift, like even if you miss a shift, the turbo will just give you all the torque you need. Brakes works. Awesome. It's really fun. Look at that. Put hard to the floor, slide the corner, keeps on going. Really awesome. Really good. So that's pretty much it for the Barra engine. It was one of my favorites inline 6 engines. I mean, I made some breathtaking inline 6 engines before, and I've seen many crazy inline 6 engines like from the United States, from Europe, and of course from Japan. But this one is actually one of my favorite ones so far because of the videos that I've seen online, and of course because of the specs in Automation Game and how this thing is actually driving in BeamNG.Drive. It's actually not slow. It's really fast. It can go all the way to 280 kilometers per hour in a straight line. So this engine is actually working as it should be. And it's a very awesome engine if you want to tune it. So that's pretty much it, my friends. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. So don't forget to, of course, hit that thumbs up, get subscribed, share the video if you want to share it. And of course, to give a big thank you to Mr. Jacob Kemp for requesting this awesome engine. Of course, this awesome legendary Aussie engine. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to check out my Patreon page, the link in the description below. If you want to download this car right now, it's available right now on my Patreon page, plus all of my other crazy special made car, like the fastest car ever, the supercharged monsters, crazy replicas, and all that is on my Patreon page, the link in the description below. And of course, if you want to show your love and support for the channel, you can of course purchase a t-shirt from my BN shop. Also the link in the description below. A t-shirt, a mug, a phone case, all these things are available right now on my BN shop. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to check out my previous videos over here. Get subscribed over here, and I will see you very soon with more awesome videos and more challenges. And of course, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now, my friends.